This is a Morgan Freeman special. Amendments to the United States Constitution. At the Constitutional Convention of 1787, the Founding Fathers crafted a remarkable document that laid the foundation of the American government. However, there were concerns among some delegates that the Constitution lacked explicit protections for individual liberties. This led to the introduction of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. These amendments, ratified in 1791, were born out of a desire to safeguard essential freedoms. They serve as a bulwark against government overreach and ensure that the rights of citizens are protected against arbitrary encroachment. The importance of these amendments cannot be overstated. They enshrine the principles of liberty and justice that are fundamental to American democracy, serving as a beacon of hope for people around the world. The Constitution has been amended 17 times since the passage and ratification of the original 10 Bill of Rights. The amendment process, outlined in Article 5, provides a method for adapting the Constitution to the evolving needs of society. Amendments could be proposed by either 2/3 of a majority vote in the House of Representatives and the Senate, or by a constitutional convention called for by 2/3 of the state legislatures. Once proposed, an amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures, or by conventions in 3/4 of the states. This rigorous process ensures that the constitutional amendments are not made lightly, yet it allows for the Constitution to reflect the will of the people and adapt to the changing dynamics of society. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution stands as a cornerstone of American democracy, enshrining fundamental rights that are essential to a free society. It reads,
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
This succinct statement packs a powerful punch, outlining 5 crucial freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. Each of these freedoms is essential for a vibrant democracy and the protection of individual liberties. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution stands as a pillar of American rights, stating,
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Ratified in 1791, this amendment ensures that citizens have the right to possess firearms for self-defense, hunting, and other lawful purposes. The Second Amendment remains a steadfast guardian of individual liberties, embodying the essence of American freedom and self-reliance. The Third Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified in 1791, declares,
No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law.
This amendment safeguards the privacy and property rights of citizens, prohibiting the forced quartering of soldiers in their homes, except in specific circumstances regulated by law. The Fourth Amendment, a cornerstone of American privacy rights, reads,
The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath of affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
This amendment protects individuals from arbitrary government intrusion, requiring warrants based on probable cause for searches and seizures. The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution outlines essential protections for individuals accused of crimes. It reads,
"No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation."
This amendment guarantees due process, protection against self-incrimination, and safeguards against double jeopardy and eminent domain abuse. The Sixth Amendment to the Constitution, also ratified in 1791, secures the rights of individuals in criminal prosecutions. It reads as follows.
"In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense."
This amendment is a cornerstone of the American legal system. It guarantees fair and transparent criminal proceedings, including the right to a speedy trial, impartial jury, and legal representation. The Seventh Amendment to the Constitution ensures the right to a trial by jury in civil cases. It reads,
"In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law."
This amendment safeguards the right to a jury trial in civil disputes involving significant monetary stakes. This is another cornerstone of the American legal system and civil jurisprudence. The Eighth Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1791, prohibits excessive bail, fines, and cruel and unusual punishment. It reads as follows.
"Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted."
This amendment ensures that punishments fit the crime, protecting against disproportionate or inhumane treatment. The Ninth Amendment to the Constitution underscores the existence of enumerated rights. It reads as follows.
"The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people."
This amendment underscores the concept of power to the people. It acknowledges that individuals possess rights beyond those explicitly listed in the Constitution, protecting against the erosion of unenumerated liberties. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution, also ratified in 1791, is the last of the original Bill of Rights and emphasizes the principle of federalism. It reads as follows.
"The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people."
This amendment reserves powers not specifically granted to the federal government to the states or to the people, preserving the balance of power between federal and state governments. The 11th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified in 1795 and addresses lawsuits against states. It reads as follows.
The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity, commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state.
This amendment limits the jurisdiction of federal courts in cases where individuals sue a state in which they are not citizens. The 12th Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1804, revises the process of presidential elections, separating the ballots for president and vice president. It reads as follows.
The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for president and vice president, one of whom, at least, shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president. And they shall make distinct lists of all persons voted for as president, and of all persons voted for as vice president, and the number of votes for each, which lists they shall sign and certify, and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all certificates, and the votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have such majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers not exceeding 3 on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president.
This amendment modifies the Electoral College process to ensure separate ballots for president and vice president. The 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, abolishes slavery and involuntary servitude. It reads as follows.
Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction.
This amendment marks a historic milestone in American history, ending centuries of legalized slavery. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, guarantees equal protection and due process under the law. It reads as follows.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
This amendment ensures that all citizens enjoy equal rights and protection under the law, regardless of race, ethnicity, or background. The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, prohibits the denial of voting rights based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. It reads as follows.
The right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude.
This amendment expands voting rights, particularly for African American men, in the aftermath of the Civil War. The 16th Amendment, ratified in 1913, grants Congress the power to levy an income tax. It reads as follows.
The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without appointment among the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration.
This amendment establishes the modern income tax system we use today, allowing the federal government to levy taxes directly to individuals' income. The 17th Amendment, ratified in 1913, establishes the direct election of the United States Senators by popular vote. It reads as follows.
The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures.
This amendment shifts the selection of senators from state legislatures to the voters, enhancing democratic representation. The 18th Amendment, ratified in 1919, prohibits the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors. It reads as follows.
After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereof into, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purpose is hereby prohibited.
This amendment initiates the era of prohibition, banning the production and distribution of alcoholic beverages in the United States. The 19th Amendment to the United States, ratified in 1920, grants women the right to vote. It reads as follows.
The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
This amendment marks a significant victory for the women's suffrage movement, extending voting rights to millions of American women. The 20th Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified in 1933, sets the terms of office for the President and Congress. It reads as follows.
The terms of the President and Vice President shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of Senators and Representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January, of the years in which such terms have ended, if this article had not been ratified, and the terms of their successors shall then begin.
This amendment establishes the beginning and ending dates for federal elected officials' terms, streamlining the transition of power. The 21st Amendment, ratified in 1933, repeals the 18th Amendment, ending prohibition. It reads simply as follows.
The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed.
This amendment marks the end of the nationwide ban on alcoholic beverages, restoring the legal production and sale of alcohol. The 22nd Amendment, ratified in 1951, limits the president to 2 terms in office. It reads,
No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once.
This amendment prevents the concentration of power in the executive branch by imposing term limits on the President of the United States. The 23rd Amendment, ratified in 1961, grants residents of Washington, D.C. the right to vote in presidential elections. It reads as follows.
The district constituting the seat of government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors as president and vice president equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were a state, but in no event more than the least popular state. They shall be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of the election of the president and vice president to be electors appointed by the state, and they shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th article of the amendment.
This amendment ensures that residents of the District of Columbia have a voice in choosing the President and Vice President of the United States. The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, prohibits the use of poll taxes in federal elections. It reads as follows.
The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, or electors for president or vice president, or for senator or representative in the Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax.
This amendment eliminates a barrier to voting, ensuring that all citizens had equal access to the ballot box regardless of their financial status. The 25th Amendment, ratified in 1967, outlines procedures for presidential succession and the filling of vacancies in the vice presidency. It reads as follows.
In case of the removal of the president from the office or his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by the majority vote of both houses of Congress.
This amendment clarifies the process for filling vacancies in the highest offices of the executive branch, ensuring continuity of government in the event of presidential incapacity or vacancy. The 26th Amendment, ratified in 1971, lowers the voting age to 18 years. It reads as follows.
The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of age.
This amendment expands voting rights to young adults, reflecting the principle of equal representation and participation in the democratic process. The 27th Amendment to the United States Constitution was originally proposed in 1789, but not ratified until 1992. It addresses congressional pay and reads as follows.
No law varying the compensation for the services of senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall be intervened.
This amendment prohibits Congress from changing its own salary during its current term, ensuring accountability and transparency in the legislative process.
If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also click the notifications bell to be alerted every time a new video is released. Thanks again for watching.